Welcome to the Thursday and the Friday preview of the Cheltenham Festival on the Winners' Enclosure. I'm joined by Martin Dixon and also Barry from Betfair. We're going to be previewing a couple of races and also giving a nap from both Thursday and Friday, which will take us straight in to the Ryanair. First of all, Barry, how do they bet here? What's going to go on favourite?
Well, that's a tricky one to try to predict. Allaho and Min, two Willie Mullins runners, head to market at the moment at 5-1. It's 5 places on the Betfair Sportsbook here, and the market, as it suggests, you're going to need every single one. The Mellon, also Willie Mullins, stablemate is 13-2. 7 Imperial Aura. Fakar Dudairis is 8 along with Mr. Fisher, and it's 10 Sam Crow, 11 St. Calvados. A wide open contest.
What do you fancy?
My own fancy in it is St. Calvados. Only touched off in it last year, beaten the neck by Min. They've tried him twice this year over 3 miles. And the King George, he wasn't disgraced behind Frodon, and then he unseated rider last day out in the Cotswold Chase, the rearranged Cotswold Chase behind Native River. I think he's been laid out for this race. Better ground. It's drying out all the time up in Cheltenham, and I think the better ground will suit him. Drop back and trip will suit him, and I suspect he could run well at 11-1. So I've backed him each way. And
Martin, what takes your fancy?
Well, I'm going to be agreeing with Barry here in St. Calvados. We're coming down on the same horse. It's a really competitive renewal of the Ryanair. We all know that, and it's quite tough, like one of the big handicaps, isn't it? But I do think he's the outlier in terms of the value of his price at 11-1 with the Betfair Sportsbook. Barry's touched on it, ran a screamer in the race last year. I don't think that the races this season have seen him to best effect, but he hasn't been disgraced by any means. He doesn't really stay 3 miles, St. Calvados. They're set to go a strong gallop, I think, in the Ryanair this year. Strongly run race over in a track where he ran so well last year. Drying ground in his turf as well. I think there's loads of positives, and if he'd have got a clear run at things last season, I think he might have pegged Backman on the run in. It was very tight between the two of them, so they'll just be hoping for a little bit more luck. But St. Calvados, certainly a big player, and a bigger player, I think, than this price suggests.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Min. Sadly, he's shortened in the last couple of days. He's an interesting horse. Obviously, he won the race last year. Bitterly disappointing last time. But the vibe from the yard is very strong. And I think he's a massive player. We'll move on to the Triumph. Barry, enlighten us. How do they bet?
6-4 to field. Zana here 6-4. Tritonic 2-1. 4 Quilixios. 9 Adagio. And it's 14-1 bar. I think the top 3 in the market have it between them. And my fancy is Quilixios. He's won 2 races in Punchestown and down Royal by a combined distance of 33 lengths. They stepped him up into a grade 1 in Leopardstown last day in the Spring Juvenile. He won that impressively, picking off St. Sam as he pleased. Went on to win 5.5 lengths. It was his first race in over 100 days. I think he's a really, really class horse, this. I think the strong pace and the stiff finish is going to suit him. St. Sam didn't let the form down yesterday. He tried to give a stone to the winner in the Boodles, just couldn't manage that. So, yeah, for me, it's all about Quilixios.
Okay, I'm going to take you on with Tritonic. I was really impressed with him at Kempton last time. I think when he won at Ascot, people slightly thought, it just took him a while, but he was a decent horse on the flat, and he showed so much more natural speed last time that I think he's very much the one to beat. Are you going against both of us, Martin, or who are you siding with?
Yeah, and we'll make it the hat trick, and we're not really helping people here because I'm going Dana here. The 6-4 favourite. Admittedly, he's shortened up, but this is a series of talented 2-miler. He's got loads of beat, loads of speed, serious change of gear. And he's done it in all types of races on different sort of ground already. It was soft ground for his first couple of wins. Time Form called it good to soft last time out when they went no gallop. He still quickened up there. In the middle of his wins was probably it was the most impressive when he turned away by 14 lengths. And that sort of gave us a real indication of what this horse is capable of Zana here. His jumping is very slick, and I think that's what might set him apart from Tritonic. His slick jumping and just his natural speed on drying ground, I think he's going to take an awful lot of beat.
Sounds like the TriCast, Emma.
Yeah, we've really narrowed it down, haven't we, there? Barry, what about the Gold Cup? We've got last year's winner and the year before, Alboom Photo. Is he sure to go off favourite?
Yeah, he looks it at the moment. He's 9-4 clear favourite at the moment, ahead of Aplutard, who's 9-2, along with Champ, last year's RSA winner. 8-1 Manila Indo with Royal Pagai, 12 Frodon and Santini, 14 Native River. Kenboy back from 33-1 into 6-1, the Irish Gold Cup winner. My fancy in the race, though, Manila Indo. Backed him when he won the Albert Bartlett. I backed him last year in the RSA when he just got picked off close home by Champ. Champ traded at 400 in running on the Betfair Exchange that day. Album Photo, no doubt he's a class horse, but I just think this is a much better renewal this time round. Manila Indo, he won his 2 first runs this season in Ireland, won them convincingly. Just he fell then in the Savills. They got him around last day. He wasn't beaten that far in the Irish Gold Cup, just a little over 6 lengths. And I think he comes alive when he gets to Cheltenham, Manila Indo. And I know Henry de Bromhead's other horse is shorter in the betting Absolute Tired, and probably rightly so off the back of his win in the Savills. But for me, Manila Indo, to right the wrongs of last year, and at 8 to 1, I think he's a very backable price. 4 places on the Betfair Sportsbook each way punchers there.
Okay, Martin, what do you like?
I really like Absolute Tired for the Gold Cup. He's one of my best bets of the week. We're speaking Wednesday morning, aren't we? So there's still 3 days of racing to go as we're speaking, and I really like Absolute Tired. I think he's just quite simply unexposed as a stayer, isn't he? And we got an indication last time, the way that he ran down Kenboy in the Irish Gold Cup last time that we saw him, it was just a big performance and a strong staying performance as much as anything. Young horses, joint youngest horse in the field with Royal Pagai, just a 7-year-old, and it seems like he's been around for ages. It's a couple of years ago when he put up that big handicap performance at the Cheltenham Festival, Absolute Tired. But as I say, I think he's still going the right way, totally unexposed as a stayer. I expect the extra couple of furlongs and the demands of a Gold Cup to play into Absolute Tired's hands, and the fact that he's got all of that experience previously over fences at the Cheltenham Festival, certainly no bad thing. So I'm very keen on him. I think he's a more serious challenge to Alboom Photo than certainly he faced last year in what was quite a weak renewal of the Gold Cup.
No, I totally agree. I think Absolute Tired's got a massive chance. I'm going to stick with last year's winner, Alboom Photo. He's had the same preparation. We know he's good. I totally agree. It's a stronger race this time around. But I think he might just prevail, which would be incredible to do it once again. So now we move on to best bets of Thursday and Friday. Barry, where are the millions going?
Yeah, well, on Thursday, I fancy one of Joseph O'Brien's called Phila Dudaris in the Paddy Power Plate. He's a 6-year-old. He's rated 145, only having his 5th start for Joseph O'Brien. He won in Navan Novice Chase, and then he bumped into Envoy Allen, where he was only beaten 3.5 lengths, but Envoy Allen won very easy that day, it has to be said. He was with him jumping the second glass in the flow glass last time out up in Leopardstown where Monkfish won. Like I said, he's got a rating of 145. He's currently a 7 to 1 chance. The Shunter is hot favourite in that race, back into 4 to 1, and rightly so. But Phila Dudaris in the Paddy Power Plate on the Thursday. And then the Friday, I'm going to stick in the Triumph for Quilixios. He's my nap at the meeting. I've backed him at all sorts of prices from 10 to 1 down for the Triumph for. I even backed him for the Boodles. Thankfully, that was non-runner, no money back. So, yeah, for the Triumph for Quilixios, he's my nap at the meeting.
Okay, good stuff. Martin, last but not least.
Best bet on Thursday can each way in one of the handicaps, a horse called Sully Dock. He runs in the Plate. I think it's the 340 race on Thursday. This is a horse that's only had a light chase career so far. He's only going to be having his 7th chase start at Cheltenham on Thursday, but he kept on improving. When he gets good ground, he's pretty lethal, Emma. He beat a horse called Editor de Gite back at Ascot in the early part of the season. She had a really good turn of foot that day, strong travelling style as well. That form has worked out really well. He then went on to Newbury at the November meeting at Newbury. He looked all over the winner going to the final fence, and he just made a bit of a mistake, stumbled over the last, and ended up getting very tired. But again, that was in a good race. I still think he's open to plenty of improvement. The ground's come in his favour, Sully Dock, and each way he would be a big player on Thursday, I think. As for Friday, I really like Xana here in the Triumph, but I won't take Barry on for Felicity. I'll stick to the Merle Chase. It's going to be a short price. Ellie May, but she's won 3 of her last 4 starts over fences. Her only defeat so far came over fences recently anyway, came at the hands of Allaher, who's going to be one of the favourites for the Ryanair Chase. Quite simply, there isn't that quality of horse in the Mare's Chase. It looks tailor-made for her in terms of the grip, and the ground drying out shouldn't be too much of a problem either. I expect her to win the Mare's Chase on Friday.
Good stuff. Well, my 2 fancies on Thursday, I've gone with Min. I know I've already spoken about this one's chances in the Ryanair. Obviously, last year's winner, very disappointing last time out and just didn't give a performance at all. But I do think the vibes are very strong, and I think he could just bounce back to his best. And I think he's a massive player there. And then on the Friday, funny enough, another Mullins horse that I've sort of heard some pretty good vibes about, and that's Ganapathy in the county. He was entered in quite a few different races. They've gone they've gone in this. He was 5th in a Grade 1 last time, quite a strong race, and that was over further. He dropped back in trip here, and I just think there's plenty to like about his chances there. Barry and Martin, thank you very much for your input over the last 6 weeks or so, and I guess enjoy Cheltenham. Fingers crossed.